Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Clockedin with me, your host, Jordan Edwards. I'm thrilled to have you tune in as we dive into the dynamic world of productivity, success, and stories of incredible individuals who've mastered the art of getting things done. Whether you're commuting, hitting the gym, or just relaxing at home, this podcast is the go-to source for inspiration and actionable tips to level up your productivity game. I'm on a mission to unravel the secrets of those who seem to effortlessly manage their time and achieve their goals. So if you're ready to clock in and unlock your full potential, you're in the right place. We've got a lineup of amazing guests, industry experts, and thought leaders who will share their insights and strategies to help us crush your to-do list and make the most out of every moment. Get ready to get inspired, motivated, and equipped with the tools you need to supercharge your productivity. This is Clockedin with Jordan Edwards. Let's dive in. Hey, what's going on, guys? I got a special guest today. We have John Castoro. He's been the leading broker for ITEX for years. His offices in New Jersey, New York City, and Virginia Beach have helped thousands of businesses save thousands of dollars every month. John has been a leader in the barter industry and has trained over 1,000 salespeople and trade directors on proven techniques that work for ITEX members. John, how are we doing today?
Good, Jordan. Nice to meet you, and nice to be on this podcast.
Yeah, John, we're excited to have you on the Clocked In podcast. You have a very interesting business, interesting model. Where did your journey begin?
Well, it's funny. My journey began. I was a contractor, and a person drove up on my job site and asked if he could get a deck built. And when I said, "Let me come give you a price," he said, "Instead of me paying you, could I pay you with a trip to Hawaii?" And I went back home and I talked to my wife, and we figured out what it would cost and what the deck would cost. And I accepted his terms of give me a trip to Hawaii. Sitting in Hawaii saying, wow, I paid this for like 3 days of labor. I got this trip to Hawaii that I would have never paid for in the cash world.
Yeah.
Go meet this person. I went to meet him in New York City the week I got back, and I went to work for him part-time originally, and I bought his company 3 years later.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That's incredible.
Yes.
Wow. Was that experience for you? It's interesting how you were so open to the different opportunities.
Yeah, I was looking for an opportunity because I wasn't enjoying my construction life anymore. So I became a commission-only salesperson for this ITEX franchisee back then, and quickly became, I think it was because I was a little bit older. I was 32 years old, and I had to get it done. And I never worked in New York City before. And then all of a sudden I was taking a train in New York City, and it was thousands upon thousands of businesses I could talk to. And I enjoyed talking to them. And I think that's really how I became in love with the industry and the opportunity. And I knew that I wanted to be more involved, and he was getting older. And
so he was presenting an opportunity there. So you saw both avenues. And you mentioned that you started part-time. So what was that?
I just started as a commission-only salesperson. I was finishing building a couple of houses, and I would go talk. It's funny. I bought this book, Selling for Dummies, and it said the first thing you need to do is sign your friends and your friends' friends to whatever you do, and that's what I did. And I quickly brought in about 50 or 60 new members.
Oh, wow.
In the first couple of months. And it just started working. And then I realized, man, if I'm doing this in New Jersey, instead of selling to the windshields, I could be walking around New York City selling to business owners the whole time. And that's how I got started.
Yeah, because when you think about it, New Jersey, New York City, you don't even have to get in a car. You could hit 1,000 shops in a day.
Yeah, if I need a florist, there's 3 blocks of florists. I can go from one to the other, to the other, to the other.
Absolutely. So the opportunity is a lot bigger, and that's a really interesting proposition because
most of the time when people take on opportunities, they blame it on the opportunity. They don't think about how they can enhance it. So I think that's really awesome how you took the moment there and were like, wait, I could double my output with the same amount of work in the same amount of time.
Yeah,
and that will operate.
just to add a little bit to the story, that ITEX has a national convention every year, and that year it happened to be in Portland, Oregon. And the owner of the company, and I was a salesperson, said, "Listen, I'm not bringing you." And I said, "All right." And then I said, "Well, what if I pay for myself?" And he said, "If you pay for yourself, let's do it." And
Yeah.
I went to Portland, Oregon. I met my now mentor, who became the CEO of ITEX. And we looked around the room. We were both young, and said, "We can take over this company." And I've been everything from a salesperson to a trade director to an owner to vice president of ITEX Corporation in charge of sales. And we're a publicly held company, so it's a nice resume. It's all with one company. That's all.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It's staying inside of it. It's being your own entrepreneur. It's kind of doing a little bit of everything. And just to give the audience a little more background, what is ITEX? Like,
Okay.
how does this?
Here's my 30-second elevator speech. ITEX is the world's largest trade and barter company. We do three things at ITEX. Number one is we bring you new business. When you get new business, you're going to accept ITEX dollars. Now, all my members accept checks and cash and credit cards. My members also accept ITEX dollars. Number two, and by the way, you're not doing anything to bring you new business. We do it for you. We call the members, tell them about you, and get you that new business. Number two is you have a trade director who helped you get that business. She helps you spend, him or her, helps you spend the money, because every time you spend an ITEX dollar, you keep a cash dollar in your pocket. So whether it's on dry cleaning or printing for your business or a vacation, you're keeping the dollars you would have spent and you're paying them with your time or product. And number three is my favorite thing. It's one that I've been living by for 30 years, is you enhance your lifestyle and your business lifestyle. So whether you want to go on a nicer vacation, or you want to take a limo to the airport, or you want to get a new sign for your building, or you need new carpeting for your office, ITEX will help you enhance both your lifestyle and your business lifestyle.
Yeah.
You do that through the power of barter.
Yeah. And so each person gets their own ITEX. Like, when they sign up, does the individual need to sell something? How does that work? Because
they get an ITEX bank account, just like you would get a bank account at Bank of America. They get an ITEX bank account. They open it up. We offer a $2,500 credit line that they can start spending right away, because it's our job to get them new business. And then they have a trade director that we have a directory online. We have a marketplace where they can go and buy things using ITEX dollars. Their trade director will find out when they want to travel, where they like to eat, what they like to do, and help them. It's not about what can I get or what can I sell. It's about every day you work hard, Jordan, and our members work hard, and they bring in dollars. At the end of the month, they pay their rent, they pay their employees, they pay their taxes, they pay their utilities, and they have a little bit left, and that hopefully is called profit. We all work on trying to make that little bit. When they're with ITEX, they still work hard, because their end of the month comes, they still pay all those things, have that little bit of profit. But hopefully some of those things we move to ITEX dollars. Now their profit went from here to here. It's about making more money and living a better life and not using cash.
Yeah. So essentially, it's the ITEX dollars are dollars that you can just utilize for your experiences. They're utilized to do an upgrade on your bathroom or a contractor or whatever you're looking to do. Do you have, I mean, you've been in the game for 30 years. Can you give some examples of what some wild stuff you've done?
Well, here's a story about a restaurant. I had a restaurant. It was called Cipiaci in New York City, Italian restaurant. I hit it off with the owner, so I went there a lot when I was walking around New York City. He unfortunately had a divorce going on with his wife, and just to give you an idea, I brought him so much business. In fact, I had my 40th birthday party there, and he didn't charge me cash or ITEX. And I brought 20 people because he said I did so much for him. But to give you an idea, just on that divorce alone, which is a painful thing, he got his divorce attorney on ITEX dollars. He got a hotel to live in for 6 months on
Oh my
ITEX
goodness.
dollars in Secaucus, New Jersey.
Wow.
He was able to take out new girlfriends to restaurants and to Broadway plays and things like that, things that he was struggling, but because he had ITEX in his life, he was able to still live a good life, live fair, and save a lot of cash with his food, paying for it. And remember, a restaurant, their food cost normally is about 30 cents on a dollar. So if I brought him $10,000 a month in ITEX dollars, which I did, he was buying $10,000 worth of legal fees and hotel fees and everything for $3,000, really.
Oh wow.
And that's the way. That's just one short story. He's still a member. He owns a French restaurant now.
Oh really?
Yeah. So
No, and it's honestly nice to see the smile it puts on your face, because you seem to be someone who really lives with purpose. Like, a lot of people are in business to make the sale or to do the next deal, but you're in it to really like help the people.
yeah,
And I've seen that. Yeah.
it's one of the things I trained not only salespeople but trade directors is, I mean, I'm old fashioned. I don't put a mirror anymore in front of me, so I make sure I smile. But I am old fashioned of making sure that you listen. If I care about you, Jordan, you listen to me. But
Yeah.
if I don't care about you, even if I have a good thing, you're not going to buy from me. So
Yeah.
I know that, and it's a little Tony Robbins in there, but I know that, if you care what I'm saying, if I care about what you're saying, I have a better chance of connecting with you. Because too many businesses and too many people now don't care. They just want to get the deal done. And,
Yeah. No, I've been seeing that a lot, and it's actually interesting. Right now, I'm reading the Og Mandino, the greatest salesman in the world, and I'm on scroll mark 2, and he talks about how you have to have love in your heart. And I say this for the audience to realize that if you lead with that love, the people can't defend against it, because it is like, I'm trying to be good intention. I'm trying to help you here. And like the way John views it, where he helped a guy who was going through a very difficult time, it's very beneficial. And you're going to want to do more of that because you feel good about doing it.
Jordan, it's good to feel good. I told you in the past about, we work with, my niece is one of the directors of Ronald McDonald House in Ohio. Okay. And they're a member of ITEX, and we brought her over $100,000 worth of donations.
Oh, wow.
Which, by the way, you get a cash write-off on. But she buys jewelry and then has an auction with all her members of Ronald McDonald House in the past and everything. And she turns $50,000 worth of jewelry into $50,000 worth of cash that she can now spend with the Ronald McDonald House.
Wow.
So it makes that part of the business makes me really happy and I think maybe not all my members will agree. I think most of my members will agree that they live a better life because of ITEX. And that's why that third portion of the three-legged stool, I get so excited about. Like have some fun.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's super interesting seeing the kind of progression for yourself. How did you go from non-member to member to part-time to franchise owner to now multiple franchise? Like, how does that even occur?
Did you ever build a house, Jordan?
I haven't built a house.
Well, if you do and you got to deal with subcontractors, you want to get out of it. You want to know what it's like dealing with hard people, like calling roofers at 6 o'clock in the morning and begging them to come put the roof on to your job. I wasn't having fun. And I
Yeah.
was having fun. And remember, maybe it is because I started a little later. I got out of college and went into the building industry with my father because I'm Italian and, to give a stereotype. But once I started walking around talking to business owners, I felt like something a lot like my best friends are some of my members. And I just, I've met amazing people. Just to tell you, before he was president, I met with Donald Trump 3 times, and I had barter deals with Trump hotels, Trump magazine, and Trump water.
Wow.
And he understood it. He understood. I have empty rooms, and if you can fill those rooms up at the last minute, why wouldn't I give them to you? Because It's funny, because in a hotel, Jordan, the normal cost of whether a room is rented or not rented in New York City is $14. So that means they could rent a room for $400. They could sell a room for $400. If they don't sell it, it's $14 whether the room is not, because they got to turn on the heat and pay the maid to go make the bed.
Yeah.
So they need to sell rooms. Empty rooms will never come back, like empty tables. You go to restaurants now, there's an empty table at 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. They can't get that back. That table's gone forever. What we want to do is fill up those empty tables or those empty rooms, help you fill them up at retail price.
Yeah. No, it's a super interesting concept. And it is really something that most people haven't heard of. And they're kind of like, how does this even work?
That's why I'm talking to you, Jordan. I want to get it out there.
No, absolutely.
I know I have a little saying that I put it on the bottom of my emails, and it says, pay attention or pay cash.
Yeah.
And that's not only for new businesses that are not members, it's for my businesses. Read the emails, call your trade director, look at the website, look at the directory, pay attention. I say this story all the time. I once joined a gym, and every day I drove by it and I said, it's not working. I drive by it every day. I'm not losing any weight. In fact, I'm gaining weight. I pay my $35 a month on time. And when I called up, they said, did you know you have to come in and work out? It's the same thing when you join any business. When you join ITEX, you need to work out. You need to look at the emails. You need to call your trade director. You need to work at saving cash. But if I could bring in you 10% new business next year, do you have the time to do that, Jordan?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
now my job is to save you 10% in cash expenses. That's my job. So at the end of the year, I don't want to bring in 50%. I don't want you to be cash is still king. We're like the 9 of clubs. I just want to bring in 10% new business to you, new business to the restaurant, and new business to the hotel.
Yeah.
And I know they'll spend the money.
No, absolutely. And it's been a really interesting experience because since I hopped on ITEX and checked this out, it's you learn differently and you're thinking differently, and it's not your normal I don't know, it's a very unique experience, but it shows you different ways to kind of capitalize on the assets that you have. And you might have extra stuff in your house. You might have a valuable skill that you can share with people. You might have a restaurant missing tables, because most people are just, they don't sit there thinking about how to solve these solutions. They sit there and go, why is the restaurant empty? Or why is my house crowded? Or why is that, why? And no one thinks, oh, maybe we could sell this. Maybe we can make a jump here. Maybe we could do a little change here. It's a very interesting space. And in the experience I've had, it's beneficial because it gives you that confidence of, wow, we can do this. Like, this can happen. And the interesting thing is that you basically put up the marketplace just basically explanation of what the service is, and then John pushes it to the list, and then people start reaching out, and you're like, what happened? How did this happen? Who are these people? And then you meet them, and they're all super nice people, and it's a cool thing.
Right.
Definitely a cool thing.
I like to think that my members are some of the most entrepreneurial people in the world. They get
Absolutely.
it. You need to get it. I got a quick story about a restaurant. My CEO and vice president came to visit me in New York City, and I just signed a new restaurant the day before. And we were walking down the street, and we're passing empty restaurant, and it was raining. It was rainy, and we're walking. And I'm like, I'm getting nervous. I'm like, oh no, I hope I didn't sign a restaurant. And we're going to walk in and we're the only people. And we're their first ITEX customer. And I walked in and their restaurant is packed to the gills. Now I get worried and say, oh my God, I hope the whole place isn't full of ITEX members. I'm walking in with my CEO and it's the lady's first day of joining ITEX. So I find the owner and I say, hey, it's John. I have a reservation for 4 on ITEX. She said, John, you're my first ITEX customer. And so we sat down and I said to my CEO, I told him I was a little bit nervous. I thought these were all ITEX people. And he goes, you know what, John? You know why we walked after empty restaurant? Because they don't get it like the lady does. That's why she joined ITEX. Even though she's a restaurant that's filled, she's still going to have empty tables tomorrow and empty tables on a Tuesday night. And she knows that you'll help fill those tables up. So I like to say that story because I do think sometimes people think barter or ITEX, people join because they need business bad. I don't. I think people need more business all the time. Listen, when I walk into a new prospect, the first thing I ask them is, how much new business can you do? And if they say they're filled up, they can't take any new business, I walk out. I say, congratulations, you're 1% of the businesses in the world. You don't
absolutely.
I know if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you. But there's thousands upon thousands of businesses it can work for. And that's the exciting part. I never run out of prospects, and I'm a sales guy, and that's
a very exciting area to be in, and it's interesting when you can find that blue ocean. So for you, I know we're winding down. What caused you to get really serious about this? I want to say I do appreciate you for following what actually makes you feel alive. Because most people don't do that. You were saying that you had a pretty successful construction business,
yes,
and you decided to leave because you're like, I don't feel alive. So yeah,
that was honestly the main reason. I mean, of course, everybody's money motivated too, and I saw that I could make money doing this. I was good at it. Just to share quickly with you, I told you I worked for my father in construction. When I started ITEX, it was a hard thing for me to tell my father I didn't want to be part of the company anymore. Of course, I said I'll help him whenever he needs help and things. But my father had a stroke after that. He then, for the last 10 years of his life, came to work for me at ITEX. And
no way.
To be honest with you, there's a guy that was in construction for 50 years, and he said the 10 years he was with ITEX was the best 10 years of his working life. Just because he got recognized, which we did. We made sure he got recognized. And my secretary at the company came to work for me too, at the construction company came to work for me. So it was 2 easy hires because they know how to work. But I really got involved because, and I'll just end it with this. When I got involved, I think ITEX is going to this day, I still think it's going to explode. I think that credit card guys 30 or 40 or 50 years ago used to walk into businesses like I walked into and say, hey, if you take this piece of plastic, I'll bring you more business. Now I know they got thrown out on their butt because people said, I'm not taking plastic. I take cash or IOUs. And that's it.
Yeah.
Now look, you can't rent a car without credit card. You can't do a lot of things without a credit card. I think ITEX should be like that, especially for new businesses. You should open up your business banking account. You should open up a credit card account, and you should open up an ITEX account so you can save more money in your credit card and your Bank of America account. When they realize that we're going to bring them new business that they can't get in the cash world, like you said, you met a guy from Minnesota. You would have never got him in the cash world. You would have never worked with him. But
and it brings you leads and people that you never would have thought you would have met. And it's a really interesting space because it's very national, it's very open, and there's a lot of opportunity.
Right.
So, John, if someone wants to learn more, where can they reach out? How can they contact?
Well, of course, they can go to our website at www.itex.com. I think it's just itex.com now, to be honest with you. Or they can call me. My number is 732-495-ITEX.
Okay.
And
I'll throw that in the show notes.
Yeah.
No, but this has been awesome, John. I really appreciate the time, and this has been fun.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you for reaching the end of the podcast. For that, we'll give you a complimentary coaching session in the link below with Edwards Consulting. Hope to see you there, and have a great day, and keep clocking in.